Ever since 2016, I've been waiting for this game and completely stoked for this game to be coming out. Back in 2016, I covered this video, and it blew up my entire channel significantly. I've been an Oddworld fan since 1997, basically when I was born, and my dad was playing it, and I would hear Abe do the grunts and all this stuff, and it freaked me out. But growing up, I ended up playing the game and absolutely falling in love with it. Now, Soulstorm continues the quintology that Loring Landing was originally going to be doing, and ended up changing some things because PlayStation wanted to put out another game. Xbox ended up getting exclusive rights to Munch's Odyssey and other things. But Oddworld Soulstorm intends to be the future, basically the new quintology. And where they're heading into the story of this game is basically just like Exodus, but a different take on certain things. One thing that I will say off the back that I was not a huge fan of, Exodus had blind Mudokons with their eyes stitched. You didn't get that with this game. I'm kind of upset about that. That's my only biggest gripe with the game. I will say it's a pretty amazing game on PC. It has its fair bit of issues. It didn't have ultra-wide support at the beginning. It would glitch out. There was handlebar issues, but okay. No! How do you know you're supposed to double jump to that? These ledges are annoying. What? To be expected. This game has been in production for about 5 or 6 years now, and we finally got some gameplay back in 2019, and it didn't end up getting released till 2021 of April 6th, which is about a week from this recording. And I gotta say, I absolutely love the game. It's been a pretty amazing run. It starts off basically with Abe just chilling, and there's some fires set, his little camp that he's at, and yeah, that's pretty much it. He's getting ready to cut his stitched lips, and he doesn't want to do them because it's the only memory he has of his mother, from what he knows. Basically, if you're fans of the game, you'll know much about Abe and its backstories and stuff like that. This is a different take because in Exodus, Mullock died in the explosion. This game, Mullock is actually tracking down Abe and trying to end him, essentially. But I will say there's some pretty unique features. Like, the game is completely rewritten. It has a new system of crafting and as well as being hidden, just like any other game. Puzzle solving and other things like on-rail shooters and some other things that are just added into the game. One of the biggest changes would be the crafting mechanics, which you can craft to, I do believe, 12 or 13 different items. Or maybe I'm just putting that out of proportion. Either way, there's a multitude of items you can craft. Although I really didn't create a whole lot of items throughout my playthrough. I mainly just obtained them or bought items and kind of used the base items because they're basically the base items, and then there's upgrades of the base items. The smoke grenades, I would say they're the most ones you will craft the most, and they're pretty easy to craft, honestly. You'll find like garbage cans and lockers and dumpsters. Those are the only three things you can search in the game. And yeah, it was honestly pretty easy to beat the game. Like I said, I played it on and off for about a week, and I was just really trying to take in my experience. I wasn't trying to beat it in one go, because if you try to beat a game in one sitting, it kind of ruins or dampens the experience and kind of puts like this like nostalgia trip back in your head, because I didn't want my review to be based on nostalgia, because Oddworld is one of the most beloved franchises in my personal opinion. And I didn't want that to be the verdict of this review, because there are a bit of problems with this game. Like I said, like you'll be playing the game and it'll just randomly freeze. This is a problem with my the PC version that I played. I didn't play the PlayStation 4 or the PS5 version, as I don't have a PS5, and I wanted to have a better experience on PC, and I didn't want the visuals to be degraded on PS4. Although the specs to run this game are relatively easy to achieve. There are some jitters. There's some weird things where the camera is tilted a certain way. If you double jump, you can sometimes just fall off the edge of the map, which, I mean, it can't be expected because the camera is probably another issue. I would say is the camera angles can be absolutely ferocious at times. And I mean, it's obviously the camera is fixed. There's no way you can move the camera left and right. So there's some issues when that comes, especially in later levels where you possess a slig and you're trying to shoot other sligs and you can't really do that because the positioning of the camera. It's really just kind of awful in that personal respect. I do believe they changed a couple things when it was coming out. Like they were having Korma for killing sligs and whatnot. They definitely, that's a good thing they changed that because the whole point of Oddworld is to kill sligs. Although this game makes you kind of feel bad for sligs because they're basically just slaves to gluckins as well. And there should have been like I don't know if there's a pacifist ending. I'd have no idea. The only endings that I ever got was the good ending, and I do want to progress the other endings as well when I have more time. I'm just working on so many different things right now, so it's hard to really do that. But right now I'm working on Monster Hunter, the new Monster Hunter on Switch, so I'm kind of between two different things. Anyways, so the gameplay is completely changed. There's a good ending, and I'm assuming a bad ending. I don't know if there's any more endings than that. A bad ending, I'm sure, is terrible. But yeah, it's very unique because this game's cutscenes as well are just out of this world. There's a major difference between gameplay and the cutscenes because the cutscenes are absolutely fantastic. Loring Landing voices pretty much 90% of the characters in this game. Although it says in the beginning that Abe is voiced by a different character or something like that, played by someone or maybe modeled after somebody. But that was kind of the thing there. But I will say it has great level designs. Probably one of the best level designs out of any Oddworld game so far. I will say the differences between New and Tasty and Soulstorm, I feel like the graphics in certain scenarios in New and Tasty are better than Soulstorm. I'm not really sure why that exactly is, but yeah, that's pretty much the biggest difference. Sometimes the visuals in Soulstorm can blow you away, and sometimes the visuals in Soulstorm look as bad or worse than New and Tasty, in my personal opinion. That can be a thing that people might have gripes about. Like I said, the gameplay is so varied, it's hard to really just nail one thing down. I will say every pretty much scenario can be like down to one solution. There are a couple instances where you could do things completely different. You could take it stealthy. You could kill all the sligs. You could possess the slig, kill the rest, or knock them out and then tie them up, and then they disappear. Those are like the major things that I really wanted to highlight because the gameplay can be quite different than the other games. Basically, where there was only one solution and you had to go down that route. Now it's completely varied and different, which is kind of nice. The music is, of course, amazing, and there are some levels that are visually stunning. The ones that I get toward the end, I feel like improved than the ones in the beginning. I don't know if they worked from the back and went to the front because the end of the game is so strong and the beginning is not as strong, I guess, if that makes any sense. Towards the end of the game, I continuously wanted to keep going and going and going and going. And then when the game ended, I was like, wow, I can't believe that game just ended. So that's my like take on the game. So like gameplay wise, it's completely new and probably the best out of the whole series. Level design, the best out of the whole series. The cutscenes are great. I wish there was more comedic value than there was in previous games. It's more down to earth and story driven than any other Soulstorm game, which, I mean, that's how Oddworld's always been, but it's less quirks and fart jokes, I guess. It's more soul than there is in any other Oddworld game, and I hope the pun there is good. But yeah, it's a really good game. There are obviously at launch there was like bugs where like jumping off the map. There's still some issues there, obviously. There's not like a lot of severe bugs that were destroying to the game. Like, I never got soft locked. Like, there was a guy in my chat and live stream that was like, yeah, there's a soft lock on this level doing this. And I never had any problems with that. If you played the game and grab every chest and all that other kind of stuff, you should have no problem with any soft locks or anything like that. The good ending is on my channel, so if you guys want to watch that, you can. I'm not going to really try to spoil a whole lot for you guys here. Out of the gameplay experience and Oddworld Soulstorm in general, I would definitely give this game a 9 out of 10. I wouldn't give it a 9.5 or a 10 because, like I said, there's some things that were changed from Exodus that I kind of felt were unnecessary. Like the blind Mudokons would have been very interesting. The variety in Mudokons wasn't as vast as I thought it was going to be. Like you get like special characters like Abe and Alf, and then you get like 2 different other Mudokons. So it's like that's my only problem. When you do rescue Mudokons, they do save diverse logs. The biggest problem with saving Mudokons are the ones where you save like 400 Mudokons at a time, trying to battle other Sligs, because like even a Slig shooting one Mudokon for me was like, I've got to restart this level. I did 100% all those levels that did that. There aren't as many secret areas with saving Mudokons as the original as well, which was probably one of the biggest gripes that I had as well. It's just so many, like, it's back and forths that I had to give this game a 9 out of 10 because there were some things that made this game super strong, and then some games that made this game weak in certain areas. But mainly overall, the best one was that this game is the best Oddworld that they had ever, in my personal opinion. It's more story driven. The visuals are great. The cutscenes are great. The gameplay is great. But other than that, if we get a DLC, which I don't believe we're going to with Soulstorm, if we do get a Soulstorm DLC, it's going to be gigantic. That's all I gotta say. If it's not the next game, then the next game is going to be insane. And I will be going into somewhat spoiler territory here. So if not, I'm going to have a description to skip ahead till after the spoiler discussion. So the good ending that I got, you only need to save 80% of Mudokons, which actually is not that hard, I would assume. Like, to get the best ending out of most games, I think it was, 90 to 80% as well. So, but it's in this game, it feels genuinely easy. If you just do the missions to save the 400 Mudokons and none of them die, you should be getting this no problem. So, basically at the end, you do all this stuff. You get the keeper. You get the weird medallion with the bug inside of it that tells you where to go, which is kind of cool, actually. And they basically, Abe finds out that they have a mom, and they know exactly where she's at, but it's in a Gluckin-filled city, and they're going to go get their mom. So either this is going to be a DLC, or it's going to be a brand new game for the quintology to the third one, and then they're either going to do another Abe Oddworld, or they're going to be doing the Munch's Odyssey saga after that. But yeah, so either that's going to be a DLC or it's going to be a full-fledged game. And if it is a full-fledged game, it's going to be amazing. If it's a DLC, I hope it's a pretty big DLC, because that's a lot of stuff to cram into a $20 to $30 package. But yeah, so that's my take on Oddworld Soulstorm's ending. So yeah, that's Oddworld Soulstorm. It was honestly a pretty exceptional experience. I really wish I played it on PlayStation or PlayStation 5 just to get like trophies and stuff. But I didn't want my my graphic fidelity to be squandered, and I feel like PS5 and PS4 probably would have been looking the same as much as the PC port, because like I said, it's not very graphic intensive. But overall, not many glitches and a fantastic Oddworld experience. I'm really looking forward to the next game / DLC, whatever they decide to do with that. And hopefully we don't have to wait another 6 years. I hope that 2 or 3 years that use the same engine, maybe upgrade some of the graphics with the Unity engine, and yeah, go from there, because this game was exceptional. Lauren Lanning, you pulled it out of the park and you blew out everyone's mind. Only thing I wish there was more. Caddy voiceover, and blind Mudokons. My only suggestion for the next game. Well, thanks, guys, for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my Oddworld Soulstorm review. It was fun to play, and definitely have to do another playthrough here soon. So, thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one. Peace out. Dude, it takes 2 fucking seconds for them to die. It's crazy.